It says we're live. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. You know what that means? Welcome to Wednesday Live, where, as you guessed it, we're hanging out live for a while, talking about projects and things. I hope your day is going amazing. We are off to the races, as they say, around here working on, you guessed it, the acoustic guitar. We'll get to that shortly, so everybody has a moment to settle in. Grab your beverage of choice. For me, we got some coffee this morning while we're hanging out. Tasty. So let's settle in and prepare for a good old Wednesday Live. If you're new to the live, welcome. If you are returning to the live, welcome. If you've never been on one of the lives, I just want to let you know that it's just a conversation talking about shop projects, open conversation, questions, comments, suggestions. You got a project you're working on. I love to hear what you guys are working on, and we'll get to what I'm working on here shortly. So welcome. Let's do this. All right. So, yeah, we're cranking on the acoustic. Working on binding right now on that. You can't really see it, but I got a whole bunch of sanding implements here behind me that I've just been sanding away. I got most of it done. I got just a little bit more sanding to do, and we'll have this binding wrapped up, and then I can finally set this guitar body aside and begin working on the neck, which would be pretty cool. Tony's here. Tony says, morning from the Gulf Coast. Good morning, Tony. Are you in the path of this hurricane that is coming up through there? I hope not, but if you are, I wish you the best, and yeah, hopefully everything goes smoothly. I keep hearing a lot about it. I don't follow like the news and stuff a whole lot, but I still am hearing a lot about it, so I hope everybody down in that area is good. D-Trout Spinners says hello from the UK. What's going on, D-Trout Spinners? How are things going in the UK? I don't think you guys have to worry about hurricanes over there, do you? Right on, right on. Something's making a racket here. This here, oh, yeah, it's my own notification that we're live. Right on. Yeah, cool. Alrighty, so let's see. Do you guys have any projects you're working on? What's on your workbench at the moment? DeTrout says, getting colder, but we're lucky. By the sound of things, that's what I'm thinking. And we're getting colder as well, although not horribly cold yet. Actually, I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now, but really it's warmed up enough that I really don't need this. It's a little bit warm in here at the moment. But yeah, that season is a-coming. Tony says, no, I'm in Mississippi. Right on. Good. Hopefully it doesn't go over that way. Paul's here. Paul says, good morning. Paul is building another pallet caster for a new customer. Awesome. Right on. I gotta say, I'm actually a little bit antsy to build another solid body. I feel like I've been working on this acoustic forever, and yeah, I'm almost ready to wrap it up, but yeah, I'm not at that point yet. You ever have those projects where it takes so long and you're just kind of ready to be done? It's almost where I'm at on this, which is unfortunate, really. Not because, I don't know, I don't like to feel that way about a project, but this one has taken so long and there's so many steps. I was talking to someone the other day And they asked, well, why is it taking so long? How come you're still working on? You've been working on that thing for forever. And I'm like, yes, I have, but there's so much to it. This is, I feel right now that without a doubt, this is by far the most involved project I have ever built, and I'm enjoying it, but it's taken a long time. You guys ever get that way? That's all right. We're gonna wrap it up. I'll show you where I'm at on it here in just a few. But Paul, that's awesome. I'm anxious to get to a salad body. I think the next one I'm gonna do is going to be one for my daughter. So I have a couple of necks that I've started in the past, and I also have a body left over from the Great Guitar Build Off last year. So I actually, when I did that build, the Lava Burst from last year's build, I actually made two bodies. Kind of one of those CYA moments, just in case something went awry. And I still have that body. It's all routed flush with my template and everything. There's no pickup cavities or anything routed in it yet, but mahogany body, quilted maple top. And she's said a couple times that she kind of wants one, so I might just take those, the leftover neck and the body, and work on one for her. I think that might be the next one I do, but I got to get a couple more built to get out there in the store and have some available for sale. I've got a couple there now, but I got to get a couple more of those done too. Jerry says, oh, it's cold in Michigan. We'll stay warm, man. It's unfortunately that time of year is upon us. Jerry says, love the red quilted maple build. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yep, I was thinking about that one the other day. It's sitting on my guitar stand, and it's one that I need to get back out and play on. I haven't played on it in a little while, but I need to get that back out. Paul says, I actually made 5 necks just to have them in stock. I have 2 left after this build. Does it have 3 necks? That's also something that I want to do at some point. I want to build a multi-neck guitar, just kind of for fun, really. Do I need a multi-neck guitar? Absolutely not, but why not? And I thought about that as well, because I do have, when I'm routing a neck, if I get a little nick or something from the router, and I don't feel comfortable selling it, I just kind of set those aside. And I've got a couple, I don't know, 3 maybe, 3 different necks that I could use just to put together some conglomeration. Paul says, I made a body and a neck for a guy, and he paid, but he's disappeared. All attempts to contact him are in vain. Haven't heard from him in 3 months. Gonna hold parts for another 2 months, then don't know. Oh man, that's a sticky one right there. Yeah, especially if they've paid for it. I guess if they haven't paid for it, then you just got some parts to sell. But yeah, the fact that they've paid for it, that makes it a little bit tricky, because you don't want to just sell it necessarily to somebody else, because I don't know. But how long do you keep it? I guess I can see where that's kind of a pain. Hopefully the guy gets back in touch with you. But yeah, if it's been 3 months, you're gonna wait another 2 months. I mean, that's 5 months. I think is yeah, that's weird. Paul says he was close to 70, but can't find obituary. Don't know a lot if he's alive or dead. Phone's disconnected. Yeah, that sounds weird. Is there any way you can? I don't know. Say reach out to some family maybe. I don't know how you'd even do that if all you have is his number. Yeah, that's man. Sorry you have to deal with that. That's kind of a pain. Huh. Well, hopefully something will turn up. You guys like turnips? Don't know where that came from, but let me show you where I'm at on the acoustic. And I know you're dying to know. Maybe not, but I'm going to show you anyway. So, I still got some sanding to do, but look! And don't mind the sanding dust everywhere. I'm in the middle of it. We have binding. Look at that. Look at that. I like it. I'm not 100% happy with the binding, but I'm not completely angry at the binding either, I guess, if that makes sense. We got maple binding with a Paduke purfling. Of course, the Engelmann spruce top. The thing I'm not super happy about is I had to remove more maple than I thought I was going to. I did about 1,000,000 test cuts on a piece of scrap, which I actually have right here. Let's see, which was my final. So, let me try to hold this up so you guys can see what's going on here. So there's my test cuts. The binding is almost 100% flush with the sides. I mean, I can barely catch a nail on that. So, and it's just a little bit proud of the top. So right exactly the way it should be, right? And I'm squeezing that sucker tight. Everything seems really good. So that's the size that I routed my binding channels. However, for some reason, on the sides, I had a lot more sticking up than I thought I was going to have, or than I should have had, really. So I don't know what happened there, but so the maple is thinner than I would have liked. Yesterday I glued this in. Yesterday afternoon I was kind of disgusted because I could see that I was going to have to remove a lot more than I thought. I don't know what I may have done wrong or what. Everything seemed to suck in, when I taped everything in place. After sanding it a bit, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Especially for the first one. There's going to be imperfections. I know that. A couple areas, it's really thin. I'm trying to be very careful with my sanding. But I don't know what the deal was with that and why that could have been the case. But it is bound nonetheless. And like I said, just got a little bit more sanding to do on the sides to get everything nice and flush. But yeah, we're almost ready. I should have this done, I don't know, there's probably an hour or two of sanding. Oh boy. And if that, really. But we'll be able to set this aside for a little while and actually work on the neck, because this will wrap up basically everything I need to do for the moment on this body. Paul says, very nice. Thanks, Paul. Just don't look at it too close. Look how thin it gets. Yeah, oh well, it's going to be fine. Harry Dude's here. He says, what's up? Hello, everyone. What's going on, man? How are you doing this fine evening in Australia? Paul says, next one will be so much nicer. Yeah, that's why we have to make more than one. Honestly, I'm surprised up until this point that this is the first real thing that I'm kind of like, not super satisfied with. I would have thought there would have been a lot more things about this along the way. It's until the binding, and of course the binding is basically the last step for the body. Again, I don't know why that came out weird. Have no idea. Because all my test cuts looked fine. Unless the only thing I can think of is the day before when I was setting up for the binding, I was using this, was a 2x4, but I probably made 10 test cuts, different combinations, trying to find the right combination of bearings. So I'd do a test cut on all sides, then I'd run it on the joiner, take that back down, make more test cuts. I went back and forth with so many things, and ended up giving myself a headache. And the only thing I can think of, and maybe I don't know, I don't think I can verify, is that I mixed up a bearing when I was swapping, and I didn't even, I don't know, that's the only thing I can come up with. Or really, maybe I just did something wrong with gluing it in, really, or taping it in place. But everything felt fine, and it seemed nice and square. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much more mental time on it. I'm just going to sand this thing and move on, and just know, I know for a fact that this is for me. So it'll be a reminder of things that I need to do better on the second one and third one. Paul says, but you will always find something with them. Yeah, actually, you are not wrong. Even on solid bodies and everything, it's like there's always little things that other people don't notice necessarily, but there's always a little, oh, well, that thing's not quite right. But I mean, it looks fine and functions fine, so let's move on. Harry Dude says, did you do any test cuts on curves? Actually, no, I didn't. And I thought about that too. That may have been part of my problem. Maybe I didn't test enough. But I don't know. I mean, in my head, I thought that, oops, I'm dropping stuff. I thought that everything would be fine, because I don't know. The way the binding jig works, it references off the sides. I don't know. I didn't test. I just used this. But that's a lesson as well. So maybe I could test better in the future. Test on curves and things. I don't know. Again, it didn't come out terrible. The joints and everything look good. I don't see gaps. It just got thin. I don't know. Well, this has got a little bit more to come down, so it's going to get just a little bit. I'm covering myself. It's going to get just a little thinner. I can feel just a little ledge right there. There's just a few spots. Overall, it's pretty flush. Down here, I got to take a little bit. But for the first one, we'll take it. Brian's here. Brian says, hey, Jeff and everyone. I hope you are all well. I'm just getting home from my new job. Right on, man. Congrats on the new job. I hope it's going good. Rick's here. Sempakin says, good morning. Good morning, Rick. What are you up to? How are your builds coming along? A little sip of coffee here. Alrighty. So I did use, remember this guy, my little rolling pin sander. I did use this a little bit on leveling the bindings. I didn't use it necessarily to flatten the sides, mainly because if you saw the video when I made this, I bent this shaft a little bit, and it's got a little bit of a wobble in there, and it jumps a little bit. It's mainly the handle. The handle portion is bent. One of these days I got to try to remake this, but I didn't want to use it on the sides because it leaves little those things, technical term, little bumps. But I did use it to bring the binding down closer to the sides, and actually it worked pretty good for that. I've been making so many experimental sanding blocks. So I was talking to a friend of mine about sanding the sides and how a rolling pin sander can leave divots. And he said, in kind of a joking way, you could probably just use a, heavy cardboard tube really and sand it. There's a heavy cardboard tube. I found one 3D printed a couple of caps to keep it from collapsing, and gave it a couple coats of shellac to kind of seal in the cardboard, and just stuck some paper to it. And I've been using this, and it's actually been working really good. And then I got one more, and I'm going to do another version of this. This is just a piece of acrylic. Nice and rigid, and I was using that to sand the sides. You just stick some sandpaper to it. You know, just trying a bunch of different things to trying to find the thing that works really good. I want to try to find some thinner acrylic too that flexes a little bit, and maybe make something out of that. I don't know. I'm just experimenting with stuff. It's kind of fun. Brian says, the job's going well. I'm the secretary at one of the elementary schools here. Lot to learn. Right on. That's awesome. Rick says, I'm setting up the electrical components for soldering. I've been trying to find a 500K resistor. Almost impossible to find. A 500K resistor? What are you trying to do, Rick? That's interesting. I've never used just a 500K resistor. Give us more information. Harry Dude said, try 2 1 meg resistors in parallel. So it splits it. Something I hadn't thought of. Rick says, this is for the Prince build. My time has been cut to finish this. The customer needs it sooner, like in a week or 2. What's your end goal with the wiring? What is it you're trying to do? And maybe we can figure out a way you can do it. What is the goal of the 500K resistor? Usually a 500K pot. Are you just trying to use it in place of a pot or something? I don't know. We need more info. We'll figure it out. That's what we do here. And one of the funner parts, I'd say, brain the projects that you all are working on. Senpakin says to Harry Dude, I don't know if I'll have room for more than 1 resistor. Is it that tight of a cavity? I'm trying to envision what you might be trying to do with it. I'll wait for more details. Details to come. I'm gonna try to reach this. My binding tower. I'm working on editing the video for this now. This will be up this weekend. I have already found a couple of things that I'm going to modify, make a couple of changes. But this thing, look at it, it's filthy. This thing worked incredible. I took this over to a friend of mine's to try out, and he's been using one of those. Have you guys seen the? I think it's the Elevate Lutherie jig, where the body stands up and you move it around. He's been using a version of that, but he used this. He's like, wow. He's like, this feels really controlled and very, very smooth, and actually wants to make one like this himself. So getting some good feedback on that, which I'm happy about. I did figure out that I'm going to go one size smaller on this extrusion. This is a 45 millimeter extrusion, mainly because I had a few pieces of this. But I think it's going to go to, I think I'm going to drop down to 40 millimeter, or I'll probably do a drawing for 40 mil as well as 1.5 inches, you know, the 2 different sizes, because I'm finding that this is unplugged, just so you guys know. I wouldn't put my hand next to the bit. I'm finding that there's very little bearing engagement in this slot. I mean, it's perfectly solid. It's not going anywhere. But I did test this on a piece of 1.5 inch that a friend of mine had, and I really liked the way it fits. It's just the slots are just a little narrower. I believe these slots, if I remember correctly, are 10mm slots or thereabouts. And I think the 40mm or the 1.5 inch, I don't know the exact size on the 1.5 inch, but the 40mm extrusion has, I think, an 8mm slot. So the 1.5 inch is going to be similar to that. But it feels, I think the bearing's going to engage a little better. And I'm not worried about this coming out or anything. But yeah, so I'm going to change the sizes. I'm playing around with, this is not going to be in the video because I just added this. This is just one of those little pull latches. So what that's for is when you're done, you can engage that, slide it up, and it locks up there. It also will lock down here, so it keeps things a little more compact if you're storing it. But some cool modifications that I'm going to be doing, and then I'm still working on the plans. I'm already making changes, so really happy with the way this thing worked. Put it to work the other day, routing my binding channels on this. So, all right. Rick says, weather is changing here, but still in the mid to higher 20s. I don't know what that is. Mid to higher 20s. Oh, so you're up up above 80, around 80, 70, 80 degrees. That's about what we've been. Mid 70s or so, which is great. Harry Dude says, to Sempak and got a link to the schematic. Yes, share. Please share, Rick. What is that thing for? What are you trying to accomplish? Jim's here. Jim says, hi from upstate New York. Jim, what's going on? Welcome. And hello from sunny Colorado. What part of upstate New York are you from? You don't have to give me your exact area, but like what part? The thing about upstate always throws me off, right? So I am originally, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm from the, near Elmira, New York. I'm sure you probably know where that is. But to me, you know, being from that area, and everybody says upstate. I know being from there that upstate means basically anything above New York City. Which is the entire state. So, upstate. Do you ever think that's weird? Am I the only one? It's like New York City, center of New York, and then they say upstate. Actually, up, north, Rochester, Buffalo, and all them other ones up there. Alan says, what do you use to cut the rosette in the acoustic? I'll show you. So, of course, Alan is talking about this right here, the rosette. So, I use a Dremel. I'll show you exactly what here in a second. I use a Dremel. You know, a regular corded Dremel works just fine, but I found that this little cordless rotary tool, this is a Milwaukee, not sponsored, but having this cordless, I feel worked incredible, because, well, you didn't have the cord, and it was super handy and maneuverable. But you can use it doesn't matter if you don't have this. If you just use a regular Dremel. This is a 16th inch. This is a 16th inch down cut straight bit. And then I also use this router base. This is the StuMac one, but there's several versions out there. So this threads in, or a regular Dremel threads in here. The thing that I like about this is it has a launch base. I'm going to try to do this without dropping it on the floor. So you can adjust your height pretty easily this way. You just tighten these down. And then there's a pin. Well, somewhere. There's a, I think that's a 3/32 pin that you drill right in the center of where your rosette's going to go. You insert that pin into the top, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a rosette, but whatever you need to cut a circle on. And then we have some adjustments here. You know, you can change the size of it, and then you just drop this down on the pin, lower your bit down tiny bits at a time, and make your cuts. And this thing works really good. Now this version this has a little LED light on there. I don't know if you know, there you go. Oh, it isn't. It's not completely dead. That's supposed to. How do you turn it off? You know, help you be able to see. I found that I didn't necessarily need that, but I can see where that would come in handy. It is kind of a cool idea, I guess. But yeah, that's what I use to cut out the rosette. I use this to cut out the actual rosette as well as the channel, and it works pretty well. You know, not sponsored by any of the brands mentioned here, but yeah. There are several versions, basically almost the same as this. You know, you don't have to use the StewMac one, but that's what I have, and it worked really well. So, but I definitely recommend if you are interested, using a cordless rotary tool. Man, works so much nicer. The thing that I found using a regular Dremel, and I did this both ways, but after using the Dremel several times, the cord seems to get all twisted up. Even if you hang it up above, to kind of keep it out of your way, which is a good idea, it gets all twisted. So you either have to remember to untwist it, but it got kind of annoying pretty quick. So that's when I thought, well, this would probably work pretty good, and it really does. Just a little M12, seems to have plenty of power. I don't have any complaints. The battery doesn't last super long, but they're not a super large capacity battery. But this is my setup. I hope that helps. If I can put this back up there without breaking the bit. Probably should take the bit out of there, but there's the pin. Little tiny pin. I'll show you. Right there. There's the pivot pin. So you just drill up. I think this one's a 3/32. Pop that down in there. Set the jig down on top of it. So Alan, I hope that helps. Feel free if you have other questions. Rick says, well, the acoustic looks great. We're all pretty critical of our own work. Yeah, we are. That's what we do. And there's a lot of things that, some people, what's going on? My foot's stuck in the seat. That just kind of comes with the territory, I think. We're always looking at things that we can do better next time. And I think that is an important part of being able to grow in our craft, whatever that craft is. It doesn't have to be making guitars, but whatever the thing is we do. If you're a baker, you bake cakes, right? You're always critiquing your own cake. And, some people are like, oh, this is the most amazing cake. Meanwhile, in your head, you're going, yeah, I should have added a little more vanilla or some more flour. You know what I mean? And but that's how we're able to improve is by noticing what we consider flaws, maybe, or some downsides, and that's an important thing, I think. You know, the when I was looking at this binding yesterday, and I'm like, man, this is going to get super thin and it's going to look terrible and blah blah blah. And you know, I even the thought crossed my mind to cut that back out and glue it back in. You know, glue in another one. But I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see, and I'm just gonna keep that in mind for next time. And you know, those kinds of things are, like I said, I think it's an important part of all of us in whatever it is that we do. You know, to just be able to recognize those things and somewhat. I mean, not. I was going to say accept them. Like this, I'm going to accept it, I think, and I don't think I have to sand it much more. But you know, and we just take that and move forward. You know, don't get hung up on stuff like that. Learn from it and move on. That's what I'm trying to say. Alan says going cordless is a great idea. Thanks. It made a big difference, really. You know, like I said, you know, if you use a cordless or a corded Dremel, you know, it works just fine. It didn't stop the process or cause me, you know, any big issues necessarily. It just was a little bit annoying, is because the cord, you know how a like an air hose or extension cord, even if it gets too many twists, it starts to like just turn into a ball, and that's what started happening with the Dremel. You know, I tried hanging the cord from above, which keeps it out of your way. But as you're going around, you know, it's starting to twist and ball up, and yeah, it made a big difference going to a cordless one. Sentpackin says to Harry Dude, not right now. The resistor is going on the switch for the single coil when it's played on its own. Makes the 500K pot a 250. So you're trying to cut the. So you want to go with. You're going to go with 500K pot. When you switch to just the single coil, you want that resistor to go in to drop it to 250. Would you? Would you not? Let's see here. I'm trying to recall. Electronics class way back in the day. Would you? Harry Dude, you probably can speak more on that than I can. Would you not be able to just put in a? You wouldn't. Would you put a 500 in there? To drop it to 250? Huh. I'm trying to remember how that works. Would you not Would you not use a 250 to cut 250 off? I don't remember. It's gonna make my head hurt. Those of you with more electrical theory in your head than me. How can Rick do that? It makes sense. I understand what you're trying to do now. I just don't know the resistance. I don't remember how that works. Harry Dude says if you use quarter-watt resistors or even eighth, you'll be fine. They're tiny. Yeah, those little ones are pretty small. Harry Dude says, thinking about it for your application, I would probably use a dual 500K pot and switch in the second gang. That way you would get a 250K pot. should do it. And I think that's what he's trying to find. He's trying to track down some 500. Let's. Rick, I'll bet you're gonna have to look on like an electronic supply site or something like that, where where you can just spec out the exact resistor you need. Even tell them 8th watt, 500K. Paul says dual 500 should do it. Harry Dude says 2 identical resistors in parallel equals half the resistance. Okay. So yes, you wouldn't put a 250 in there. You'd put in, because that would only give you half. Yeah, I got you. Paul says put a 500K resistor across the outer lug of a 500K pot. Then when the pot, when turned to 10, is like having a 250K volume pot. The thing he's trying to do though, Paul, is he's got a 500K. He's got a humbucker, so he wants to take advantage of the 500K pot, but only use the resistor when he switches to the single coil pickup. So I think the resistor would have to go on the pickup side of the switch, right? When he switches it there, then it flows through the resistor, flows through the Could you not just put in a Could you use just a 250K resistor? No, because you send in a 500K signal. Yeah, had to work that through there, I think, for a second. So the signal going to the switch is coming out of the 500K, so you say that's a 500K signal. It hits the switch, then it needs to go through dual. Yeah, the dual 500Ks, right? Two 500Ks on the single coil side of the switch should get you a 250K signal to send to the single coil, if that makes sense. Did I say that right? Feel free to correct me. I'm not like a super genius in that electrical stuff. I don't want to steer you wrong, Rick. It's gonna give me another headache. Man, I'll tell you, I had the worst headache working out this binding. All right. Something else I've gotten recently. Do you guys use these? You guys use these quick grip clamps? I picked up a few of these, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I honestly don't know why I haven't used them sooner. They've been coming in super handy, and I think I need to get about 400 more of these. A friend of mine's who's been helping me out, with some questions and stuff on this guitar, keeps saying, grab some spring clamps or quick grips. They're so much easier for stuff that I was trying to do. And I'm like, man, I got enough clamps. Well, I grabbed some, and he was right. And now, now I need more. Do you guys use them? What has been your favorite use for these quick grip clamps? Let me know. I need reasons to buy more of these. That's some tasty coffee. All right. So yeah, I think after we're done here, I am going to I'm going to finish sanding this binding. Hopefully it doesn't get much thinner than it already is. And yeah, then I got to get to editing some video. I got to finish the binding tower, the prototype binding tower. That's what I want to call it. And then I'll edit the binding video. So my plan is this weekend is the binding tower prototype, putting that together, and then the next video will be me installing the binding, and yeah, keep things rolling. And then I can get started on the neck for this thing. Harry Dude says, got 8 of those, various sizes, great for clamping tools and jigs to the bench. That's what I have a couple of them used for right now. Clamping my 10-minute Moxon vise that I had to build the other day to the bench. And they work great. It is kind of nice to not have to, fumble around trying to hold things in place and turn the thing. They're not. I don't think they're quite as heavy duty as a regular F-style clamp, but yeah, definitely going to have to get a few more of these. I even saw that, maybe you guys have seen it too, Rockler has some spring-loaded ones where, you pull the thing and it sucks it in, and then you just tighten it up. I wonder if those would be worth having. Because it takes so long, to do this. Brian says, enjoy your day, everyone. See you next time. Stay safe and take care. Thanks, Brian. Have a good day, man. Hope you guys are doing great. Rick says, the video is really pixelating on me here. Really? I haven't seen any cutouts or anything on this end, so don't know. Sometimes I'll get, it'll like cut out. Here I can see it, but Paul says, not allowed to use clamps, makes things too easy. And my wife says I have to do everything the hard way. I think there's something to that, I think. Does this actually somehow feel like cheating? And that's why we struggle with the F-clamp? I don't know. But I feel like you may be onto something, actually. Because for years, I've known these have been out there, and I've used them before, but I've never had any myself. It just, I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed them, or I wanted them, or I wanted to use them. I don't really know what the thing is with it. But after getting them, they're great. See, I don't know what that is. Like, we're afraid that, using a regular clamp is, somehow cheating. I don't know. I think there's something there, though. But yeah, you still need a bunch of these, I think. But I can definitely see the drop stuff. Definitely see quite an advantage from using these grippy ones. Again, I don't think they're quite as strong as as a regular F clamp, but for the kind of stuff that I'm using them for, man, they work great. They really do. Not a sponsor. There's tons of brands out there. I might get a couple from a few different brands and see which ones I like the best. And really, if you look at it, if we can save ourselves, a few seconds, on how often we use clamps, if you can save yourself a few seconds, why not, I guess. That's not an area of building things that I really looked at before, saving time. And really, I think that's what these do. You don't have to fumble around trying to hold things quite as much. And I can definitely see where, that's an advantage. And, time saving is, is something that we think about a lot, but there's certain areas where, I just don't think about it. I don't think as clamp as a time saver, but until now. Jim says Utica. Oh, right on. That's awesome. Yeah, see, that area, I think is more upstate. But people used to call, well, they probably still do, but, down in the Elmira area, upstate. I'm like, it's right on the border. How can it be upstate? but it is upstate from New York City. Yep, I know the area. Right on, Jim. Cool. Well, let's see what else, guys. What else? What else is going on? You know, another thing. Oh, sorry, I kicked you. You know, as we're coming into, coming into winter before long, you know, I'm starting to look at, you know, outside stuff. You know, what do I need to take care of and get ready? I've got some slabs and things outside that I'm starting to dig out, and you know, probably get some of those machined up. You know, at least into usable lumber, so I can get them outside. You know, or get them in from outside, and it also gives material for, you know, projects for the winter and stuff. There's a couple things that I want to get to. So I've been trying to work on digging out some slabs. Probably going to run them out to a friend of mine, and get them straight lined, you know, and kind of a little easier, than me trying to do it with a circular saw. But you know, just kind of looking at stuff like that. Dude, I know you're going into summer, but oh, there, we're back. I just had the first cutout on my end, so I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe are having some issues. But anyway, as I was saying, as you go into winter, what sort of things do you guys keep in mind and try to take care of, to prepare yourself and your shop and your home, really, for that matter, for wintertime? For me, the things I'm looking at are, you know, what do I have outside? I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing, but I do have lumber outside that I intend to use. So that's, you know, that's something I need to get inside so that it doesn't sit out there in the snow and all that once that snow hits. But then on top of that, I got to look at, well, okay, I'm going to bring it in, but where am I going to put it once it's in here? So I got to do some, you know, cleaning up around the shop. I always look at glues and finishes, stuff that I really don't need to be having outside, you know, out here where has the potential to get below freezing. Um, you know, anything water based, will, you know, freezes right up. So I make sure I get all my glues out of here. That goes in the house, which is a pain because I always have to walk. You know, I'm out here and I need the glue. Oh, it's in the house, so I got to go back in the house, which is not far, but it's just a headache. Because yay for summer, sick of spending $30 a week for gas bottles for the workshop heater. I'm covered. I don't have a heating and HVAC system in here, so I have to use other methods. I've tried all of them except an electric heater, which I think I'm going to try this year. We'll see how it works. But yeah, you know, just getting heat situated, getting things cleaned up so you can run the heat, and you know, all that kind of stuff. It's, you know, a lot of little things to consider. Paul says, remove finishes subject to cold, keep temp and shop around 50 degrees. Yeah, that's going to be my goal for this year. I'm going to try, you know, in the past, I really just run the heat to get it heated up when I'm working. I've never tried to sustain that heat, you know, like overnight and everything. And I might try that this year. And sounds like it could get a little expensive, but I could be wrong. I don't know. You know, I'm thinking about maybe a small electric heater of some sort. You know, so they have those safe, I don't know, infrareds or something like that, that maybe I could let run and just keep it just barely, you know, like on the coldest setting, basically, just to keep it from freezing in here. I might try that this year. Paul says, gotta go. Have a great week. Right on, Paul. Have a great week, man. We'll catch you. No, we'll catch you next week, Paul. Take care, buddy. Yep. So, but yeah, that's the kind of, you know, there's Woo, excuse me. Sorry about that. Didn't want to like sneeze on you guys. Woo. It's almost like there's a lot of sanding dust in here or something. No, I forgot what I was even going to say. I think there's another sneeze. Stare at the light. You guys do that? Like try to look at the light and make you... Oh, it's bright. Don't do that. Hey, Robert's here. Robert, there you are. Robert says, hello, peoples. What's going on, Robert? What are you doing this fine Wednesday? Right on. We were just talking about things that we do when winter is approaching to prepare your shop for the cold weather. Getting things in from outside and getting heat ready and all that stuff. Yeah, it's such a drag, trying to, Harry dude, I feel your pain. Trying to in an unheated shop. It's just the worst. It really is. But it's better than the alternative. Right on. Robert says, yeah, just going through, walking back from picking up my junk mail from the post office. I need to go do that. I need to run out there. I don't get there enough. I got to go out there and check the P.O. box and all that stuff, but I got to get out there one of these days. Most of the time it is. It's all junk. Thankfully, they have a trash can right next to the post office boxes, so I just, probably waste a gallon of gas driving out there to get it, but just to throw it away, yeah, got to do it. Awesome. Right on, guys. Well, you guys have any last-minute questions, comments, suggestions? If you're enjoying those live streams, I'd appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Let me see that thing jump up there a little bit. Apparently, I don't know, whoever they are, say that YouTube likes that when you hit the thumbs up. Not just for live streams, but any video you watch, if you enjoy it, hit that thumbs up button. Harry Dude says, my workshop garage is attached to the house, but the central heating in the house doesn't have any effect in the workshop. Yeah. Hence the patio heater. I have thought about those patio heaters. Is it one of those like umbrella type deals that radiates down on you? Yep. I use a propane heater as well. I think I'm assuming it's propane. The thing I don't necessarily like about the propane, although it puts out a ton of heat super quick, I have noticed a lot of condensation, because propane puts out moisture. And that's something that I've been trying to look at avoiding. I'm sure I will still use it because it does give a ton of heat really quick and helps to warm the space. But I'm also looking at other options so that maybe I can just run that for a short while, to bring the temperature up and then shut it off. And then I can have another something to help maintain it. Because, yeah, a bottle of propane, it gets pretty expensive, especially when it's super cold and you're running it all the time. The other downside of mine is, well, yours may be the same, is it's super loud. So if I'm filming something, I can't talk while I'm filming. I mean, I've done it because it's so cold. But you can always hear that thing hissing away in the background. And I really want to get away from that, but always looking at other options. Robert says, yeah, I had a notice of a package pickup, and the main reason I had the notice was because I had not picked up my mail for a couple of days, and it was packed. I sometimes go several weeks. One time I went like a month and a half, totally forgot. And I got there, and the thing is like, I just have one of the small boxes, and it was just jammed. Like they're just jamming it in there with a stick, and totally my fault because I didn't empty it. But thankfully, nothing super important was in there. It was jammed in there. Harry Dude says, my heater is a short version, about 4 feet tall. I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought about one of those. My neighbor had one that they were getting rid of or something. I thought about it, but. Richard says, awesome. Right on, Richard. Right on. Cool. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up this this episode of Wednesday Live. Harry Dude says it's louder at lower heat. I've noticed that too. Mine has 3 settings, and when it's on full blast, when you turn it down from full, it's hard to explain. It gets a teeny bit quieter, mine does, but the frequency changes, so it seems like a little bit more annoying even. I don't know. Robert says some of the electric heaters work pretty well. My sister and her husband use electric heaters to help with natural gas they have. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I want to go grab some sort of, one of those electric electric infrared ones and try those and see. I've heard good things about them. Never used one, but from my understanding, they put out a nice dry heat, and that's something that I want to try to avoid, or I want to try to do this year, to avoid as much condensation. That is one thing I've had happen a couple times in the winter. Is I get like really bad flash rust on mainly my joiner. It only happens in the wintertime because I imagine because I'm running the heat and it's maybe there's a weather change and it just, I don't know. There's been 2 or 3 times where I'll come in and just like overnight my joiner is completely rusted over. It cleans right off and I don't leave it on there, but I don't like that. So if I can try something that's a drier heat, so that's kind of why I want to try it infrared. And Harry Dude, maybe something like that might work for you. They have those, those little infrared heaters. The ones I'm thinking of, it almost look like it's in a little wooden cabinet deal. Probably fake wood or something. But I hear that they work really good. So I think that's what I want to try. Alan says, thanks for doing the chat. No problem, man. Hopefully you can tune into some more of them. We do them every Wednesday. I alternate weeks. So this week is on YouTube. Next week will be on Facebook, then YouTube, and so on. And I just alternate around. And always 9 a.m. on Mountain Standard Time on Wednesdays. So if you can join in, man, that'd be awesome. Robert says, sorry, it seems I've missed most of the stream today. It's okay, man. No worries. You still made it in. And I appreciate that. So, right on, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get back to sanding. Ow. I'm going to get back to sanding binding for the acoustic. So, stay tuned this weekend. The video for the prototype binding tower will be coming out this weekend. That's the plan. So, I got to get this sanded, then I got to go edit. So, that's my day. So, Henry's here. Oh, shoot, missed it today, too. No worries, Henry. You still made it in to say hi. Henry said, had a long work call. No worries, man. Don't worry about it. Richard says, heck yeah, right on. Hit that thumbs up, guys. I'd appreciate it. Harry Dude says, catch you next week. Robert says, yeah, that's the type of heater my sister has. They work well. Nice. Good to know. Right on, guys. Well, thank you for joining today's Wednesday Live. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome remainder of your week, and be on the lookout for the video this weekend. And as always, we will see you guys. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, I got cut off there. KK's here. I got to say hi to KK. Good evening from Greece. My friend Jeff, I got you. I was reading and turned on the TV, and I was happy to see you. Love to all the brothers in America. Right on, man. Right on. We're just wrapping this up, but I just wanted to give you a shout. I saw your comment pop up, so I hope you guys, you and your family, everyone is doing awesome over there in Greece. Senpakin says, have a great day. Keep the resistor suggestions in mind. Thanks for your help. Stay safe and well, everyone. Talk to you, Jeff. Right on. Robert, everyone, have a great one. You guys too. Stay safe, stay well, get out in your shop, make some cool stuff, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you.